we are so happy to have you on with us today because we love people that do good, and are putting out good things, positive things. And so you got to be excited about this venture because we're at a really strange time in the world. So almost seems like perfect timing for this, right?
Absolutely.
hmm And tell us a little bit about the company and what we have coming up here. Sure.
First of all, thank you for having us. I appreciate it. You're absolutely right. This is the perfect time. We didn't plan it this way. It's just the way it worked out. Monty and I met on a film that we produced and I directed in March of 22, just as the Ukraine war broke out. And it was a very strange dichotomy to be walking into a set all about good things and then seeing on the news this horrific, chaotic time. So rather than say, well, that's weird, say, well, what can we do to sort of address that? And I think that really was when the idea was born, that we have to do content that is going to inspire people, make them feel like there's something to get up for in the morning and not feel despair, because it was really hard to shoot the movie against that backdrop. We accomplished that. And at the end of the film, as you know, whenever there's a creative event that you're involved with, there's sort of a letdown. What do we do next? And it seemed that we needed to continue with the idea of creating content that made a difference, not only for the person watching it, for the people that we were helping in the show. Boots on the ground, small fixes, nothing major, nothing, redoing entire houses, but small fixes that can actually improve their lives and make them feel like they matter. And in every episode of Divine Renovation, which was our first project together, we also created a spiritual uplift, which was some kind of fun event or something that fed their soul and made them feel like that they mattered. So Divine Renovation was our first project. But after that was over and we did 2 seasons of it, Monty and I regrouped at the beginning of this year, end of last year, and said, we want to really create a company with the mission of precisely that, simply doing good and entertaining people along the way.
That's a beautiful thing, and of course, Monty, this is something that's super important to you as well, to be able to tell these kind of stories and uplift people, especially now, right?
Absolutely, Paul. I mean, we turn on the TV now, we turn on the radio, we go on the internet. They're pounding us left and right with bad news. Whether you're on this side of the aisle or that side of the aisle, they're trying to create so much division. And we like to go back to the basics. We like to go back to a time when this country, 60s, 70s, 80s era, that had so much morals, that had so much kindness, that there wasn't a division. And so it seemed like now, with all the chaos going on, this is the perfect time to convey the message of just doing good. And what we've seen, Paul, is an outcry of businesses, an outcry of religious organizations and nonprofits coming together through us, using the power of TV to spread a message, but not be so decisive in the message and make it a message about doing good.
Yeah, absolutely. And then, of course, people look up to this kind of thing just as a business and just as something that they think, well, how can I go down this path? Because we all have great tools and connections, but putting them in together and actually putting it into action is another thing. So for each of you, what kind of advice would you offer to somebody that wants to, well, do good in their entertainment?
So that's precisely right. We've approached businesses both in Wilmington and in the northwest corner of Connecticut to join us. And what we found is that they were really thrilled and delighted. In many of the interviews of the workers, they'd say, well, we might be renovating a house for someone and that's transactional. But when we're here at a food pantry or a homeless shelter where people are living and with dignity and we need to make their lives better, I'm so honored to be part of the project. We heard this from the businesses that joined us over and over again. We didn't expect that response, to be honest with you. And of course, they felt that they were doing something for their company, but they also felt that it was feeding their soul. And I think more and more people are looking for that meaning in life, honestly, because to the point of view in Monty, everybody is in a tough spot. and life starts to become questioned. Why are we here? What matters? And so if you're actually doing something, giving back during a chaotic time, it feeds you, it puts breath into your soul, it puts breath into your body, and it allows you to give you a sense of meaning and purpose that perhaps you didn't have before. So the businesses really were galvanized by having these opportunities to work with us. And as we create new content, Paul, as we move forward, we're finding that we have other businesses that are jumping on board. So we're thrilled about it.
Oh, that's great. And what would you say, Monty?
Say, I mean, if anybody wanted to know why and what to do good wise, I would say just look at your heart, look at your fellow neighbor. What we did, Paul, with Divine Renovation Season 1 and Season 2 is we found that when we come into a neighborhood, we're only there for a few days, maybe a week. But when we leave, that neighbor is there year after year. So we wanted to bring spiritual elements to some of these neighbors that wouldn't reach out to the church or to the nonprofit. And so what we did become contagious. And so what I would suggest is just look outside your yard, look outside your window, and see if there's somebody you can make contact to, just to say, hey, not save the world, but just acknowledge, because kindness does matter. And the more we echo it, the more it rubs off on people, to be honest.
Yeah, well said. Now, you're like this. My co-host is Drew Pearson, one of our great Dallas Cowboys, caught the Hail Mary, went in the Hall of Fame, and we're so proud of him. But what we love to ask people on the show is their Hail Mary moment, which is that moment in your life or career where you just had to go for it and it worked out for you. What do you suppose that was for each of you? Yeah.
Well,
Great question.
For the Hail Mary moment for me, I was thrust into the position of directing a feature film that I had never done before. I've directed actors in voice positions. I've directed them in theater, but I've never directed a film. And for a number of reasons, I was asked to direct this film and I was terrified. I was literally shaking at home and I was like, I don't know how to do this. And so, but I did it. And I knew that I did it because I had people surrounding me and uplifting me. You could not do it alone. So community was very, very important. Being with people who knew what they were doing and were willing to teach me along the way, and then give me the ability to start to exert myself and insert myself into the film, which I did. And so for me, that was my Hail Mary pass. I come from a broadcasting background, Paul. I've been in radio in New York for, several decades. So I've been on the talent side, and it's very comfortable to be on the talent side sometimes. And now you're responsible as a director and producer for teams of people. You have to lead them. You have to be decisive. Sometimes your decisions aren't right, but you stick with them. And sometimes you have to change them if they're not completely right, right? You have to pivot. So my Hail Mary, to answer your question again, was deciding that I could do this, that I could direct, that I could produce, and that I was willing to fail. If I was willing to fail, if it didn't work out, at least I tried.
Yeah, beautiful said. And how about for you, Monty?
Let's say my Hail Mary moment. Well, I had to throw that in there. It would be when we decided to do Season 1 of Divine Renovation in my hometown of Wilmington. We didn't know what we were going to get into. We made my home the production office, which my wife wasn't too thrilled when we had 20 or 30 vehicles unloading equipment left and right. But it's what needed to be done. And it was a testament to the crew. It was a testament to Eric Estrada. It was a testament to the city because, Paul, we did it during a hurricane in a 5-day shoot. Did we think we were going to get it done? No. And so that would be the Hail Mary moment when we wrapped. It didn't set in until after the fact that people started seeing not the production value, but the story meaning, because there's always time for the production value, which is Season 2, and we're very happy about. But I would say that's my Hail Mary.
Yeah.
And we won a Telly Award for Season 1.
Yes.
We were very thrilled about. So I think the storyline was the star, and the fact that these people were just delighted that they had folks come in and give them some minor help in their lives. That was the story.
Oh, it's beautiful. Well, and part of that is what we talk about on the show is that success mindset that you have to have. And, whether you're feeling it or not, you just have to decisively go there. And so, for both of you, what do you keep in mind personally that kind of keeps you on the right path, even when things are tough, or even when the signs may not be there?
Valerie.
Yeah, well, that's another loaded question. It started during the pandemic, when I transitioned from broadcaster talent person to producer. My mom had just passed away from COVID, and I felt very lost, and and everything was changing, and the whole world, Broadway was shut down, and I don't have to tell you, it was a crazy time. And when this opportunity came to me to start producing and learning what that means, and that does mean in many cases bringing in capital, which I had never done before. So that was when I said, okay, I'm going to do this. And I kept my mother in mind. And then sadly, 10 months ago, my husband passed away while we were in the edit of Divine Renovation. So when you go through that trauma, nothing compares to it, literally nothing. So nothing is as important. That is the most important thing, your relationships, your life, it's not your career, it's the people you love. So when that trauma comes your way, I always keep that in mind, that the worst happened to me. It can't get worse. So whatever challenge we come across, it's fixable. One way or the other, it's fixable because we're here. When you're alive, you have the opportunity to fix it. That's as simple as.
Well said. I think I would jump in there, Paul, and say for me to keep going is the look on some of the people's faces, these strangers that we've never met, that we're able to bring a little bit of joy, a little bit of self-reflection. And as Valerie said, it's a testament of who she is and what we want to do as a company to keep persevering, to keep spreading the message, but not look flaky. So, because there is that side of it where the do-gooders, no, we want to be humble. We want to show that it's not about us, because we couldn't do this without the support of the community. And so I just echo that to my son. I echo that to the community. And, we're not trying to take over the world, but we do believe doing good resonates with anybody that has a brain, that really wants to help people. And it seems like, as Valerie said, we live in a world today where doing good seems taboo. It's sensationalism, it's division, it's polarization. And that's my main motto, is my head down, doing good. When the dust is settled, let's see what kind of impact we made.
Yeah. I love that. Well said for both of you. And I'm so glad that you're able to, find strength and do things that are, impactful. And so now I can't wait to see what you have coming up next. Either of you can answer, like what do we have to look forward to here coming up?
Well, I'll take the first. There's a couple of things. The most immediate thing is we have a book coming out, a children's book for 9 to 11, that age group. It deals with a disabled parent and a police officer. And lo and behold, the police officer is based on the likeness of Eric Estrada, because he is known for his belief in law enforcement, his passion. He is in law enforcement himself, as well as playing it on television, having played it on television as Punch. So we bring along Officer Eric, and the title of the book is Officer Eric and the Very Special Dad. And he meets a gentleman with a family who has MS. And that's based on my husband who passed away. And so for me, it was important to bring him to life as a character in the book, and to provide comfort for families, wives, husbands, children, pets, anybody that's affected by someone with a chronic disease or disability, and really normalize it and make it part of their lives and celebrate the person, not focus on the disease.
Well, with that, as we've got the book, we wanted something tangible in between productions. So, Paul, September the 19th, season 2 comes out on Amazon Prime. We're very excited about it, to highlight the northwestern part of Connecticut. But more importantly, it goes on the mentality of doing good. So we're moving over into the food element, because we do believe food brings so many cultures together. We're not stopping the renovation, but we do have to let it breathe, because we are moving sort of fast on the second season now. So we can't pretty much divulge what we're going to do as far as the food, the name of it, because that is being worked out as we speak. But we're definitely looking forward to presenting the same type of concept, which is divine renovation, but the food element. And then most importantly, after that, we're really excited about the Just Do Good Awards. And Valerie, if you'd like to explain a little.
Yeah.
We have come across so many unbelievable human beings, and then businesses, and then not-for-profits who are on the front line, silently doing the work. They are the heroes behind all of this. And we want to celebrate these people. And we think this is a wonderful way to bring the community together, to bring individuals together and honor them for the work that they do and make it a fun, entertaining night. So there'll be a celebrity, there'll be the people that we're honoring. It'll be in a beautiful environment. That's in the works. That's coming up for early next year of 25, right? Is next year. So that's on the docket. The book is on the docket. And then we're developing a series about businesses where an individual, an entrepreneur, comes from nothing and was able to, with hard work and belief and faith, move forward in their lives, create a business, and then pay it forward. These people need to be honored and found out. And so we have somebody in mind right now that we're looking at. So all of this is in development. We will get back to you when we have more news, but yeah, we're busy. We have a lot to do.
That's beautiful. I don't think people realize the work that goes into this. It's kind of a interesting parallel, but I just put out a book that's supposed to be motivational. And then also, I'm working on a show right now that's, companion to that. And then of course I'm on a board of a nonprofit too, that's all about doing good.
Well, how
So
do you fit it in, Paul? How do you fit it in?
whew, that's a great question. I was going to ask you guys the same thing.
Yeah, but we're trying to get advice. It's tough, but you're absolutely right. A lot
Yeah.
of the public doesn't see what goes into it. And that's probably another thing that we really love to involve the businesses and the public itself, to show that it's not just what you see here. There's so much inner workings in the back that it's just because you got an idea, it takes more than that to develop it. So, it's a learning process, and every day we're learning every day.
And what I will say to you advice-wise, to both of you, I say this all the time, you still have to put aside time for your life, for yourself, and not work 24/7, because and I know we can do this weekends, holidays, nighttime, it never ends. We have to put the boundaries in to live our lives as well. It's very important.
Yeah, that's right. Well, it's funny, turning in the book, I said, okay, I'm done. They said, oh no, now the work begins. And so you probably know the same thing. And so, but I think there is a great reward in what you're doing, just as far as in your heart, to do something good. And so that should definitely be applauded. And I'm so excited for everything that you're doing. We're going to keep an eye on all these things and, keep in touch and make sure we promote every last thing on there. So really appreciate your time and the great answers, and look forward to hearing more. And thank you so much for doing good.
Thank you, and good luck to you and all that you're doing.